was a Tim Chalamet, and now it's on my resume. It's not my face they see, cause they don't know me, and that's okay. These are the parts I play, filling in plot holes with all sorts of roles, cause there's no small roles, no small roles, no small roles.
Welcome to No Small Roles. This is the show where I speak with fellow actors about their careers and about some of their smaller roles in big movies and TV, and how these roles are in fact not at all small for the actors who play them. Now, today's guest, I have an actor who has probably not had a small role in 3 decades. He's a veteran of the business. He has been a star in some of the biggest films and TV shows of the past 30 years. He is a father, he is a husband, and my very first Canadian.
Wow.
Lochlyn Munro, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Ian. Yeah. I appreciate that. And I'm very, very honored that I'm your first Canuck that you've ever had on the show.
I'm so grateful to have my first Canuck. Can I say that as
Canuck?
an
Yeah, of course.
Right. Okay.
We call each other Canucks, you know?
Okay. Can I be a Canuck? I may actually want to be one right now.
You can be an honorary Canuck today. How's that?
Thank you. I'm going to move in with you guys.
I love it.
So I'd like to start with one. Well, actually, I want to remind people what they know you from, because there's a whole lot of things. And I'm just going to list some, because you have over 300 plus credits on IMDb, which I'm sure you're aware of. But here's a few.
Okay.
21 Jump Street, Run, Cadence, Needful Things, Totally Killer, Reacher, Charmed, Monk, NCIS, Smallville, Space Buddies, which my kids loved. So thank you for entertaining them.
It was so much fun.
I bet it was. Could the dogs really talk?
Yeah.
Okay. Castle, Longmire, Lucifer, The Predator, Northwood, Unforgiven, Scary Movie, Freddy versus Jason, White Chicks, Riverdale, and Peacemaker. That's just a few, literally just a few.
Crazy.
You've done some stuff.
Yeah, well, I know how to hit my light and I know how to hit a mark. That's basically
Clearly.
That's the key to my career, Ian.
You're not so bad at that stuff. I want to just break the ice with one question before we delve into the meat of it.
Yeah.
Do you prefer grilled cheese with or without tomato?
I'm gonna go without.
Without, okay.
And I do like tomatoes. I just don't really like cooked tomatoes all that much.
You're not alone. I'm learning on this show. There's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah, but I do like tomatoes. I do like tomatoes. Like if it was a fresh tomato on that grilled cheese, I'd eat it. But I don't know. The warm tomato's a little weird to me. But you know, I'm not that picky. You know, but I had to make an answer, and that's the one I'm going with.
That's fine. When I move to Canada, I'll get you a grilled cheese with a fresh tomato.
There you go.
Convince you.
Perfect.
So you are you're Canadian, as we discussed. You are, I believe, a husband and a father. You're clearly a very smart guy. So why are you an actor?
I have no idea. I started out. I wanted to be a professional hockey player, as you know, most of the majority of Canada. I had a really bad injury playing hockey, and I was a musician throughout my high school years, and I loved music, and so when I realized that I couldn't go on with sports, I got back into playing music, and while I was playing music, I started to meet people in the arts and entertainment area, and that's kind of when Vancouver was just sort of taking off in the film industry. Stephen J. Cannell was bringing up shows like 21 Jump Street and Wise Guy and these things. So I started to meet people that were like, "Oh, I was on this TV show the other day doing background," and I was like kind of intrigued by it. And so then I started to take these classes in Vancouver. I got an agent. She started putting me out for roles. And then it's honestly, it's one of those things that I just go, I was so lucky to fall into it. And I was so lucky to get opportunity out of the gate. And And so my very first show was 21 Jump Street, 1987.
Wow. And
That crazy?
you done I had read that you'd done some maybe TV movies around that same time too, or was 21 Jump
Well,
Street the
no,
first thing?
21 Jump Street was the first job. It was
Wow.
I booked my very first audition ever, bro. Isn't that
Oh
weird?
my, that doesn't happen, but you did it.
I mean, mind you, it was like, like 10, it was a small little role in the first season of Jump Street, but
There's no small roles.
yeah, there we go.
Like hell you will, pal. Something I can do for you, gentlemen?
Yeah, Johnny, you can go back to New Jersey.
Actually, I kind of like the scenery here.
Well, we don't like you, hot shot.
Derek, go back to class.
Yeah, Derek, why don't you listen to your sister? She's a very smart lady.
Oh, yeah?
Good comeback, Derek.
Derek! Derek!
Cut! Quit! Hey, cut! Cut!
Well, I'm impressed. He gets $4 million for that?
That's the rumor.
I don't get it. Anybody can do that.
But it was, it was interesting because I remember my first day on set standing there thinking, wow, I can't believe I'm getting paid to be an actor. And this guy taps me on the shoulder and says, hey, bro, I'm going to go grab a Coke from craft service. Can I get you anything? And I went, no, I'm good. Thanks. He goes, oh, hey, I'm Johnny. And I went,
Wow.
oh, hey, Johnny, I'm Lochlyn. And when he walked away from me, I just went, well, I don't know who that is, but I think he might be a movie star, And
So
that
you
was
were not a
Depp.
fan of the show.
What's that?
You were not a fan of the
Well,
show
no,
before you
I
worked on it.
honestly, this was first season. I didn't know who he was. I don't
Okay.
even think the show had aired yet. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
Johnny wasn't really known at all.
sure.
So, then once a show became a hit, it was obvious that he had all those tangibles to be a film star. I mean, great, very, very handsome, very charismatic, just oozed sex appeal and a
Mhm.
damn good actor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if you look at his body of work, I mean, there's a reason why he shunned Hollywood, trying to make him the next sort of pinup guy or Tom Cruise-ish type dude. He walks to the beat of his own drum and he just creates amazing characters for
It
a really
explains his
handsome guy.
longevity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So
So that was the first one, bro. Yeah.
so as a young, before the hockey and all that, you were never like a theater kid. You were never
Well,
drawn
no,
towards it.
I grew up in a very, very small town in northern British Columbia, and there was nothing like that around me. I mean, the closest movie theater for me, because I grew up in the outskirts of our small community,
Yeah.
was a 20 to 30-minute drive for me, which when you're
Wow.
12 years old, that's a whole world away. But
Sure.
I do remember that when I used to go see movies, I was affected by the movies way different than my friends. I remember that I would always talk about the film. I would always go, "Oh, you remember that part where this guy did this, and and this and this." And none of my friends were doing that. And also,
Mhm.
too, out of all my friends, everyone were more athletes than they were more artistic side.
Sure.
And I was the only kid out of all my friends that played in band. Like I just there was just, and then once I started to get success, I looked back on those days and I go, man, there was something lingering
Was
there
there.
that attracted me to performing and creating characters and entertaining people.
Was there anyone in your family that, like parents or anything? No, it's
Not at all.
totally
Not at
wow.
all. Just an anomaly that I mean, my brother played saxophone in band and stuff like that, but I mean, I gravitated right towards the drums. I became a drummer singer in all my sort of high school bands, and then when I broke my leg, I taught myself to play guitar, and then I started to play little pubs all around Vancouver at night, and then that's when I started to meet people in the arts and entertainment field.
And did the music continue for you, or were you done with that once you discovered acting?
I mean, yeah, I didn't. It didn't become a gig at pubs and stuff, but I played lots of music with my friends. We'd jam in rehearsals and stuff. And now my kids
Mhm.
play a bit, and I really wish I could play more. To tell you the truth, I always say to myself that I need to take more time to keep that creative energy going. But I tend to like life gets in the way. But I really need to set aside time to just sit and I just love playing guitar. I love
It must
music.
be downtime on set, right? There's a lot of waiting around.
I should, yeah. I should
Yeah.
bring my guitar to set and just leave it there. I remember
Yeah.
doing Riverdale, and I remember one day I heard this amazing guitar coming from one of the trailers, and I looked up, and it was coming from KJ's trailer, and I was like, "What the hell? Who's in there playing?" And it was KJ, and the kid was phenomenal. My God. When he was 14 years old, he used to busk the streets in New Zealand.
Oh, wow.
And he learned to play guitar through YouTube. And I got to tell you, he's really like one of the best guitar players I've ever seen play. He's really good.
Well, it's just amazing to hear all the different avenues of art that people gravitate towards, like you and music, and then to acting, like he as well.
Yeah.
I just want to, we have the segment coming up later on the show called the Kiss and Tell.
Yes.
In one word, can you tease what your Kiss and Tell will be about?
How about we drop an Easter egg and go with Western?
Western. Okay. We'll come back to that in a little bit.
Okay.
So I saw, so 21 Jump Street was the 1st. I saw this article, an interview with you from way back when, and it says that film is
oh my
where
gosh, hold on.
I don't know if you've seen this, but I found it on Reddit.
Yeah,
but it says you would love to be in film. You love the success of your TV show, I believe, Northwood. You're like, I like making money, but I want to do films.
Ian, look at the photo. That's when we were all trying to be Johnny Depp in Vancouver.
I mean, you look great. You haven't changed. You haven't. I was looking for clips of you through all of your work.
Yeah.
Your hair hasn't changed at all.
Oh, I'm hanging in, bro.
That's not fair. I am not hanging in.
Hey, I got to tell you, God blessed me with lots of hair. He just didn't bless me with good hair. But I have a lot of
good.
Oh,
yeah, you do.
bro.
You're very easy to spot when I was like scanning through projects.
Yeah. No, it's I spent half my life in northern Canada, so cryogenics played a big part in looking young.
It's not fair.
Very
I'm in
cool
Connecticut, so it's like almost up there.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
Did you? I'm sorry.
So yes, getting back to that article, I mean, when you're at that time, right? Like film was the pinnacle. Like you always wanted to be to do movies, and
sure.
So of course that was my goal back then. I enjoyed doing television as well, but everyone back then wanted to be a film. I'm not going to say a film star. I just wanted to do really interesting projects. I always wanted to be Gene Hackman more than I wanted to be Tom Cruise. I wanted to be Jeff Bridges. You know what I mean? Like that's still those are still like the people that I look to and go, man, look at all those. Like Jeff Bridges is phenomenal. I'm actually thinking about growing it out and getting a beard, and I'm going to go full Bridges from now on, bro.
I mean, I'm sure you've done that. I mean, you have done so much work, so obviously I haven't seen it all.
No.
But you've had so many different opportunities, so many different kinds of roles, the tough cowboys, kind of like the Brad kind of,
so crazy. Yeah. But now as you get a little bit older and the industry has obviously changed since the early 2000s, there's not a real, sure there's a difference between film and television, just the medium of it. But, there's some damn good television that's made now. And, so, I mean, the goal is always to find the coolest and most interesting stories to tell. And that is always the goal of an actor. But,
sure.
I'm also a guy who I make a living as an actor and an entertainer. And, I've always enjoyed every movie that I've done, whether they be big movies, small movies, movies that have done well, movies that haven't done well. It's all about just bringing characters to life and telling stories. And, whether or not they come out good or they don't come out well, I can't control that.
That's out of your hands. Yeah.
I've been very, very, very fortunate to make a living as an actor since 1987.
Well, that's what I was looking through your credits. Every year you've done several projects, and I wonder if this has something to do with being Canadian, even post-strike and through the strike, you appear to have been working nonstop. it
It
seems to have
was,
not
you know,
affected you.
I am very fortunate. I am Canadian, but I'm a U.S. resident, so
Okay.
I get to work in both countries, so I'm very
That's
fortunate for
amazing.
that. Yeah.
Do you feel, along with your talent and the Canadian beginning you had, do you feel like having been in Vancouver really was helpful to your career?
Of course, yeah, because I look at, back in the day, I look at the poor uh, younger actors who had to move from Oklahoma to LA because it's like, well, it's pretty hard to become an actor in Oklahoma. I was
Sure.
very fortunate. I started out in a film community. I mean, if I was from Edmonton, Alberta, I would have had to have moved to Vancouver, Toronto, or LA. I mean, I couldn't have stayed
Mhm.
in Edmonton and got into film and television. I was just very fortunate that I was in a community, and of course, the way that things work in Canada with tax incentives and credits,
Sure.
they back then they wanted to see if they could find sort of the Canadian actors who could play the smaller roles, and then as things went on, Canada started, especially Vancouver, because of the bigger film community, the actors got lots of training and opportunity, and there's a lot of great actors up there that now are like leads in shows that shoot in Vancouver or Toronto. So
Yeah.
it was a progression of getting opportunity. That's the difference of how I started. I was really fortunate that I was in an area that lent itself to getting opportunity. And then once I knew that I had enough um, sort of enough stuff to have a good reel and feel
Sure.
secure that I kind of knew now what I was doing, then I started to
Mhm.
make my way to LA, and that would have been about 1990, 91. Started to kind of
Okay.
make my way to Los Angeles for the infamous pilot seasons, as I'm sure you remember. you know
Is
Jumping in a
Northwood
car in January. Northwood was a Canadian TV series that was kind of like, it took over for Canada's Degrassi High.
Yes.
Yeah, look at that, the
There
TV
there you
guy. Look
are.
at that, man. So, and it was Canada's version of 90210, just on a very, very lesser scale and budget. But it was a very popular show in Canada because everyone in Canada gets CBC. That's our Canadian Broadcast Corporation. So
Mhm.
it doesn't matter if you have rabbit ears on your television.
You couldn't miss it.
You're gonna get Northwood. And what a really great I had a really great time on that show. It was just such a great show to cut my teeth on because it allowed me to make mistakes that weren't, on a
Sure.
global scale. And there was really, really great actors on the show, and the people were awesome. And it was just a great, really good time and a good experience for me. And so once I did that show, then I started to kind of head out and make my way south.
Would you say, because you had the 21 Jump Street and you had this, would you say this is
Yeah.
sort of the thing that gave you that footage, that experience? Or would you
Yes.
credit something else with giving you that
No,
launching pad you really
I
needed?
think Northwood gave me experience. It didn't give me, I mean, it was a Canadian television show that no one
Sure.
in the States cared about. I would say that once I did Wise Guy, and then once I did Unforgiven and those type of movies, then I was starting to like, okay, now I've got some stuff under my belt, and I had a little bit of a demo reel, and I was able to come to LA with some credits, and so it was a little bit easier of a sell for agents because I was someone who had already been working.
Do you mind if I play a clip from Unforgiven?
Of course, let's do it.
I can only imagine what that was like at the time because this movie was huge. It was Best Picture. This must have been huge for your career, I imagine.
I guess, I'm a little naive to it. All I know is that when I was there, it was an absolute thrill. My first Western, just getting to watch Eastwood, Hackman, Morgan Freeman, Richard Harris. I mean,
Unbelievable.
yeah, I would hide. Even the days that I wasn't needed, I would go there and hide and watch.
Who wouldn't?
You know, it was like just like that. That was my 4 years of Juilliard packed into 2 months. You know,
Unbelievable.
yeah,
It's
it
such a
was what.
powerful scene too. That scene really
Yeah,
stuck
it's
with me.
what's I remember the producer David Valdez telling me that he goes, Lachlan, I know that you're not in the movie a whole bunch. He goes, but I got that scene is very memorable. And
Mhm.
yeah, I was just so grateful that Clint looked past my my non what I feel was like kind of a non like quintessential Clint Eastwood Western look
Sure.
and gave me a chance.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. And then it wins an Oscar and he wins for director and Hackman wins for best supporting actor. I mean, just crazy. Like what a way to come out of the gate, right?
And so
I
from
mean, and
there,
I'm not saying that it's like launched me into the, I mean, I had a small little, no small parts. I know what you're going to say,
yeah, I won't say
but,
it again.
but I mean, yeah, I mean, for me personally, it was probably one of the coolest experiences of my life, as far as work wise goes, because it was, I mean, every young guy's dream is to be in a Western, and then you end up in a Western with those gentlemen, and then that Western actually wins an Oscar. I mean, couldn't have asked for anything
Couldn't
cooler than that.
be a part of that cast.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I would say, where people really started to get to know you outside of Canada would be like the late 90s, early 2000s, when
Yeah.
you really got some amazing roles. So bring me from this to
Yeah.
Night at the Roxbury, and then we'll talk about the other ones that followed.
Well, okay. So in between, my very first job that I booked when I came to LA was an episode of the TV show Blossom.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And that episode was directed by Bill Bixby, actually, which was
Oh, no
very
way.
interesting.
The
Yeah.
Hulk.
Yeah. And so I would just go back and forth between LA and Vancouver doing different sort of TV shows and movies. And then when I booked the movie Dead Men on Campus,
Mhm.
that was the movie that, because it was an MTV Paramount co-production, and the amount of play that we had on MTV as far as promoting the movie was crazy. And even though I was one of the three that Mark Paul and Tom Everett Scott were trying to get to commit suicide, I just had a really showy character and they let me go crazy. And so I just ended up in the trailers a lot, and it almost made it look like I was the star of that film from the trailers back in the day. And of course, they were just on rotation on MTV.
Gentleman has always had a rule that if your roommate died as a result of his own willful act, you get straight A's.
I'm not gonna kill myself, in case that's what you're wondering.
Okay, now, here's Mr. Z.
Who's Mr. Z?
Mr. Z is the guy who's gonna kill himself whether he lives with us or not. Might as well live with us so his death won't be in vain. We've got 2 weeks to move him in here and push him over the edge. Oh! This guy, he is it, man.
I got some beers. Let's drink them, huh?
That one's not beer. Pamphlets say it's crucial to keep all instruments of self-destruction away from the suicidal person. Hey, Buckley.
Ah, what's with the knife?
You must be our new roommate.
That's right, if I'm still around.
Hey! Ah! Whoa! This guy's psychotic.
I smell a pig. Hey, pig! Hey!
Paramount Pictures presents, in association with MTV Films,
You guys know any chicks who like to party?
a Pacific Western production.
What was I thinking listening to you? Which one of these chicks is for me? Actually, I think they're all lesbians. Lesbians!
You guys are cool, man.
Men on Campus.
They hate it when you do this.
That was the one that kind of, then from there Paramount put me into Night at the Roxbury, and then from there things just, then I ended up in Scary Movie and all that stuff. So
Do you mind if I play a couple more clips? I'll probably
Sure.
throw some Dead Man on Campus in later because I don't.
yeah,
have
yeah,
that.
yeah, you
But
got
here's some Night at the Roxbury. Bill's, I guess, boss wrote this movie.
Gentlemen!
Great!
Looking large. Hey, you want the rest of my power bar?
No, I got a nitro bar.
How about an energy bar?
No, I got a muscle triplicator bar.
Okay. Hey, well, supplements aside, let me ask you something. How long we been friends?
All 7 years of high school.
Yeah, at least.
That's why I gotta be real with you right now, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Look, as a professional trainer, guys, I'm a little worried about your triceps. You guys aren't going all the way down. It's called full extension, and I'm not seeing it.
Craig, you're right. We actually had a long talk about that the other night.
Long talk.
I just don't want you guys to cheat yourselves. You know, I'm sorry to come down on you like this, but in a weird way, it's my job.
Hey, that's why we love you and we hate you.
Still friends?
You know it.
Well, I'm glad we had this talk.
So Dead Man on Campus sort of let everyone know, oh, he's this great comedy guy, so let's put him in these. Is that what happened?
I guess, yeah. You know, it was very strange because I always felt like I had a good sense of humor, but you know, up in Vancouver, I hadn't done there wasn't a lot of comedy per se shot there, especially like television wise. Kind of the first real comedy that was, well, I mean, Blossom was kind of, you know, a 4-camera sitcom, so that was a whole new experience for me. But what happened was, it was so that was the first time director of Dead Men on Campus, and Paramount had Amy Heckerling watch over dailies and stuff like that. I didn't know that. I was at home one day and the phone rang and my wife picked it up and she said, yeah, hold on a second. She goes, it's some lady named Amy Heckerling for you. And I went, what? So I answer the phone. I go, hello. And she goes, Lochlyn, it's Amy Heckerling. I've been watching dailies from Dead Men on Campus, and you are to that movie what Sean was to Fast Times.
Wow.
And I just totally honestly, I couldn't believe it. I was just like blown away by that connection. And she goes, and so she started to talk about she was going to produce this movie that was based on the SNL skit with Will and Chris Kattan. She said, I'd love for you to come and meet them. And so I went and met them. And then a couple of days later, they're like, yeah, they want you to play the role of Craig. So that's kind of how that's. So then all of a sudden, you know, now I'm like, I was flown out to have a meeting with Lauren Michaels to do SNL, and it was crazy. I was like, honestly, I was a little intimidated by it all because I'm not a sketch comedy artist. I just take characters and kind of create these characters, and so when I went out to have that meeting in SNL, I didn't know why I was there. I'm like, I'm not Dana Carvey and Mike Myers. I was a little intimidated by it all. But you know, it's funny because all my prior work, I mean, I did the movie Wagons East in around 94, right? So
wasn't that like John Candy's last movie?
Yeah, I was there when John passed away, and John and I became good friends because I was pretty young, but I was the only other Canadian on the movie, and so he kind of took me under his wing, and you know, we would always talk about sports up in Canada, you know, CFL and all the hockey and. You know, so him and I got along. Him and I hit it off really well. So that was kind of like the only sort of bigger comedy that I'd done out of the States at the time. And then the funny thing is, you know, I do a bit of work in between that's not as big. And then when I hit Scary Movie, then everyone in LA were like, every time my agents would push me for some dramatic work, they'd be like, well, you know, we really like Lochlyn, but he's a stand-up comedian. And this is like, and I was like, what?
So you got kind of pigeonholed for a beat there.
Oh, it was so weird, man. I'm like, I'm not a stand-up comedian. I'm just taking characters and trying to have fun with them and create. I mean, I can do the same thing if you ask me to be a hitman. I mean, so I've been really fortunate, really, over my career to be able to do comedy and drama and action and, you know. So, and maybe that's why, Ian, as far as like, you know, my credits go, you know, I feel like I have the versatility to do everything. And so that helps me as well, you know.
What would you say? So you did a few films with the Wayans. You did like 4 films with the Wayans. Is that?
Yeah, I did the first Scary Movie, and then I did White Chicks.
And Mr. Harper makes me feel like I'm some dumb blonde with fake boobs.
No, I didn't mean to offend you. It's just, it's protocol.
I'm gonna have a BF. Oh my God, she's gonna have a bitch fit. Oh.
No. Don't have a BF now.
I want to speak to your supervisor. Better yet, I'm gonna write a letter. I am a white woman in
Ladies,
America.
is there a problem here?
Yeah. Yes.
No. Sir, no. There's no problem.
And then Little Man, and then I did a movie with Damon Wayans. It never got released, called Behind the Smile.
Okay.
I did Dance Flick, and now Scary Movie 6, 25 years later.
That's
Crazy.
amazing. Wait, but how, not to spoil anything from the first
Right.
one, but you kind of didn't survive.
Go, Greg! Look behind you! You damn it! It's a killer! Oh my God! Somebody do something! He's killing you! Oh God! Oh God! No!
Yeah, that's kind of a bit of the parody in the joke, because
And yet there you are.
there I am. Greg is now a police officer. Isn't that crazy? Yeah, so I think that once Scream started to say they're bringing back people, Sean and Marlon were like, you know what, let's just parody that. Let's bring everyone back. Because even in the first one, Marlon dies, Sean died, and then they were in the second one as well, right?
That's how those work.
Regina Hall died. She was in the second one. So really, I think the only person that survived, I'm just trying to think back, was Anna Faris's character. I think she really was the only one that survived.
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, man. But I got to tell you, it was really cool that the Wayans got that franchise back, because Scary Movie 6 feels exactly like the first one to me.
So it's going to be great.
I hope so. Yeah, I never ever jinx myself. I never tell anyone. Usually I don't even tell my family when I do a movie. They find out from coworkers, because I don't like to talk about anything that I do, because I don't want to jinx it. I would rather have someone go to a movie theater and go, "Oh my God, I didn't know you were in that movie. It was amazing." That I don't even tell people unfortunately, this one kind of leaked a little bit, but I try to not even tell people when I'm doing a movie and stuff. I just want it to come out and have them be surprised if.
Well, on your IMDb, you have like 9 upcoming projects.
Yeah.
Or at least.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a lot of friends now, Ian. I have a lot of producer friends. I have a lot of director friends. And, I feel like I've always been one of those guys that's always showing up to work on time.
Mm-hmm.
I do my job.
You're a good person.
I don't create a fuss, and then I leave. And so it's really, I think a lot of it is just, the cool relationships I have with a lot of filmmakers. And, I still to this day love my job. I bring that energy to set, and, and I feel like, I bring a certain, I've been in 40 years now. So I feel like I bring a certain professionalism to a film set, and I do my job. So I think that's probably why.
I assume at this point, it's probably a stupid question. You get a lot of direct offers for your work, or do you find that you still have to do self-taping like everyone else?
No, I do. I get direct offers from my friends who are producers, but as far as everything else, still a grind, still getting way more no's than yeses.
Okay, well, it's in a sense good to hear for us.
For sure. It's a journey, man. It's like I'm like a blue collar actor, I have recognizability, but I still, like I said, it's still a heartache job, like for everyone else. You really want to roll and you get close and then they pull it away from you. But I just love opportunity. To tell you the truth, a lot of times on bigger movies, sometimes my agents will go, you know what, let's just make this offer only. I'm more of the ilk where I tell them, I go, no, let's not leave that to chance. I know that I can nail this part. Let me put it on tape, because I'm just always been one of those guys. If I go, okay, offer only, and I don't get it, then I don't feel like I did my job. I feel like, you know what? If people have this thing in their head where I'm Lochlyn Munro from Night at the Roxbury and this is like a cool SWAT movie, then let me go in and show them that, let them see a tape and go, holy shit, the guy can play badass too. So I enjoy that. I listen, my job is to perform, and auditioning is performing.
Reverse! Oh, you... Get out of
So
Do
why
you
not?
mind self-taping, or do you prefer in the room?
I do really like to be in the room. I mean, there's a certain tangible. I mean, I'm also one of those actors that always loved being in the room. Not that I didn't get nervous, but I just loved the opportunity to collaborate with the actual filmmakers. The problem I
Mhm.
have with the self tapes, and yes, you can do them until the cows come home and get them perfect and stuff, but I'm still like,
Yes.
it's all my instincts and my choices, and I don't want to
Mhm.
sit there and do five different ways of doing it. Not going to watch all that.
Sure.
So I just find that in the room, you have a chance to win. You have a chance to win them over by being collaborative and saying, listen, I have a couple of ideas, let's try it this way, let's try it that way. Or they may go, Lochlyn, I love that. Let's make an adjustment on, halfway through the scene. And all of that type of thing just kind of like shows that you're quick in your feet, that, nothing's going to, blind you on the day if you have to pivot or anything. The problem with,
Mhm.
especially with the newer actors with the tapes, is that these newer actors self-tape. It takes them 1,000 times to get it right with an acting coach. Their
Yeah.
tape is amazing. They hire them and they get up on set and they fall apart because they don't have that luxury of all of a sudden, they've gone from their living room to a film set, right?
Sure.
Um, but I just don't like putting my heart in a sleeve and throwing it into the ether, and you don't even know if they're watching it sometimes. So
I just like the logistics being taken out of it and just being
yes,
able to
for
do that
sure.
from my basement.
Of
That's the part I
course.
like.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm lucky. My daughter and my son are 19 and 23, and they're both like, I mean, they're in school for different things, but they
Mhm.
both have really good instincts acting wise, and they're great off camera readers. And I have the luxury that they still live with us.
Oh, that's good.
I
Oh,
can't imagine what it's like for younger actors here, that every time they get an audition, they have to go to a taping house. It must be excruciating.
or do the Zoom thing. A lot of my
I
actor friends yeah, it's tough.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, it's just one of those things, it's like I can't change it, so I might as well embrace it and try and figure out a way to make my tapes the best they can be.
Sorry to come unannounced, Fred. It's been a rough couple months for us, but Alice and I...
We think that Archie and Betty should stop spending time together. Their relationship isn't good for either of them, and their respective behavior reflects that.
All right, so if there was anything that you could do on your end...
My son's a good kid.
Do you have advice for up and coming actors? Something you wish you had known as you were kind of getting started in this business?
Yeah, yeah, I think it's really important to be prepared, like
Mhm.
make choices, do the work. Don't worry so much about the job, just do the work, and then the
Mhm.
jobs will come. But I felt like that's like are there certain things I wish I would have networked more as a younger actor. I was kind of the ilk that it's like, my work will speak for itself. Why should I
Yeah.
go out and meet people? But that's the damn Canadian coming out in us there. Um, that would be something that I do: get to know filmmakers, get to know the community. I was a little
Mhm.
lax there. Um, but yeah, it's all about the work, as you know. It's like you can't do anything other than the work. So just do that, take the opportunity. I used to just love the audition room because I was like, wow, I can't believe I get to play that guy for 3 minutes and
So
hopefully win
fun.
and win them over, right? It was a challenge for me. I was like, oh, this is going to be good. I'm going to get this part in this movie in 3 minutes. That's my challenge. And
I have so
so
many friends. I'm sorry, go on.
yeah, no, go Ian, go.
I was just going to say, I have so many friends that used to love going in the room, and they landed
Yeah.
some amazing opportunities from being in the room, and they would get an adjustment like, oh no, read for this character. You'd be good for this. Then they get that. And since
Yeah.
self-taping, they've got nothing.
No, and I must say too, it's like self-taping now. It's like back in the day, they only had so much time, like
Sure.
let's just say for a guy reading for the role, like let's say there was like 25 of us or 30 that they could see. Well, now
Mhm.
they're seeing 7,000 or whatever the hell it is, and they're looking at the first 20 seconds of these tapes because they
If
can't
that
look at
much.
they can't look at 7,000. So I always tell young actors now, if they give you 4 scenes, do one scene really well, and when the tape ends and they're waiting for the second scene and they really like you, they're going to go, oh shit, where's the other scene? Then they're going to phone the agent and go, did they do the other scene? Then they're interested. If
That's
they don't,
a good idea.
right? Because then you don't waste your time. Like I sit around. I mean, listen, life gets a little more difficult as you get older. You got kids, you got
Sure.
all the stuff. Sometimes I'm like, why am I learning 11 pages? They're going to watch the first
Yeah.
scene and go, is he good? Is he the one or not? If they like it, they'll flip to the next scene. So my whole thing is like, okay, so if they like you and they want to see more, but you didn't give them more, then once they say, hey, we really like that first scene, why didn't he do the other ones? Then I'll do the other ones.
That's a good idea. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm not in your position,
Right.
but
And
I
I
like
can
that.
do, and you can do the first scene really well because that's the only one you have to concentrate on.
And it would
Don't
cost less for
show this to
coaching.
don't show this to casting people. They'll be like, Lochlyn, what are you doing?
Get the fuck out of here, chopsticks.
Yeah, well, we'll be seeing you fork.
Fork? Why not spoon?
Everybody in the world uses spoons.
Yeah, but that asshole doesn't know that.
That's true.
I mean, spoon would have been more demeaning.
Yeah.
Except like a baby thing. Little babies use spoons.
Okay, adults also use spoons, but I get it. You hear anything about Peacemaker getting out of prison?
No. I mean, you'd think we would have been notified.
Yeah, you'd think.
Do you have any hocus pocus, anything you need to do to focus, get in the zone when you arrive on set to do your scene?
Oh, I got to tell you, sometimes I wish I was a little more like that. I'm very, very relaxed in the way I work. It all depends on the role. I mean, if I'm playing,
Sure.
If I'm going to be let's say Dustin Hoffman in Rain Man, then chances are I'm going to be more prepared and a little more cerebral in my approach. But for the most part, I just know the text and know the material and come to set to create and have a good time. Like, to me, it's like, it's amazing, and everyone has their process. Don't get me wrong, but man, when I see method actors work, most of them look like it's painful. Like it's like they don't enjoy it. I don't quite get that process. I mean, everyone has their process, and I respect it. I just don't. I'm like, thank God I'm not like that, because I actually love being here.
Making that bond with everyone
Right,
else,
with the
which you can't
crew,
do.
with the actors, everything. It's like, I don't need to hate an actor just because my character hates him. I don't feel like I need to go there. But
That's not
again,
acting.
that's just my
Yeah.
my own personal taste, right? And I respect everyone's process, whether I agree with it or not. So, but no, I don't. Like I said, I try to make sure I know the text and know what the story's about, and then I go to work.
Well, speaking about method, I was going to ask you, is this scene, I want to show one clip and ask you if you were doing method for this. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, laugh it up, you guys. Big laugh. You know what? You can all go to hell.
Greg, you're not the only one who got one.
Well, you mean Bobby's got a baby dick, too?
No, I was talking about the note. I got one, too. Somebody knows.
Yeah, that's bullshit, Cindy. Look, someone's just trying to fuck with us, you guys.
We have to call the police, Greg.
You call the police, and I'll kill you myself.
You're hurting her, man.
And you know what? That goes for all of you guys. That psycho wants a piece of me? Bring it on. But I'm not going to jail. You got that?
That last elbow smash was all improv.
Was it?
Yeah. You know what the great thing about the Wayans family is, they kind of shoot the Bible and then they challenge you to bring it.
Oh,
And
it's so good.
that's what I love about. So so that particular character, when I got the role, Keenan gave us a job. They said, okay, so watch Scream, watch I Know What You Did Last Summer, though that's your homework. Now, I'm not judging Ryan Phillippe. Everyone makes their choices. I just was shocked at how angry he was in that movie and how physical he was with Jennifer Love Hewitt all the time, like like angry with her and stuff. So I thought, okay, well, let's just amp him up a little bit, And so that's why I was always like grabbing on a Ferris and choking her and kicking her. And
that's right. There's the other scene earlier where you.
Yeah, exactly. And the funniest scene in that, the thing about that scene to me, and I've become good friends with John Abrahams over the years, and the way that he's just standing there, and his whole take with Freddie Prinze Jr. was that how like kind of casual and quiet and meek he was. So as I'm beating up on a Ferris, if you heard him in the background, he goes, come on, Greg, you're hurting her. Like it was that kind of tone, right? It's so funny. Like I'll never forget that when I was doing the scene, the way he was just like, Greg, you're hurting her. And I was, I'm beating up his girlfriend, and that's his reaction. So yeah, little things like that. But yeah, that's how I prepared for that role. It was just, I got to play a really fun part, and I just amped him up a little bit and made him fun, made him real, but made him fun.
And ready to be spontaneous and improv a little bit and
oh yes, yeah,
make them laugh. Must have been so fun.
I think.
And then you got. I'm sorry. Go on.
I think that is really what kind of how I propelled into the other movies with them. I think they were just all about the fact that I had no problem with, whether or not it bombed or not. I was always willing to try something. And the cool thing about Keenan was he was always just Lochlyn. There's no vanity in comedy. So go for it. If we don't like it, we'll pick you up. We'll try something else. So you never had to feel
That's
like,
so nice.
ooh, maybe that seems silly. Maybe I shouldn't do it. It was just go for it. So
that's nice. They gave you that freedom and that kind of support.
They do it. They do it for everyone. That's how they work. Honestly, they kind of look at you a little strange if you're not willing to do that. That's what I find. They're like, what do you mean you don't improv?
I can't wait to see you in the sixth one.
How do you have a career? Yeah, honestly, the great thing about the sixth one is when they first announced it, I didn't really know. We all didn't know if we were all going to be back. And then, as we all started to get a call, we were so excited. And I didn't expect to, be the lead of Scary Movie 6, but I have some nice scenes. And, it's all about all the original cast are now the parents of the new cast, right? So that's kind of, and all the new cast are exactly like, basically Anna Faris, that was Anna Faris. The only thing she had done before Scary Movie was I think a Washington State yogurt commercial.
Really? So this is before the Brady Bunch. Okay.
Oh yeah. Anna did.
Wow.
This was her very first ever job. And,
I didn't realize
that. She was basically like all the kids, basically like all the kids that are in Scary Movie 6 now that are probably going to break out from this movie because they're all so good in it.
Would you put this, would you say this is one of your most cherished jobs that you've
had?
Yes.
People always say, what's your favorite movie? I don't have a favorite movie, but this set up my relationship with the Wayans was Scary Movie. And I went on to do some really fun movies with them and built a relationship with those guys. And they're just really cool people. And, I'm very fortunate that, they consider me the White Wayan brothers. So.
So I want to, before I hold you too long, can we just get to your kiss and tell? And you said, what was your word? Western.
Mm-hmm.
What is your kiss and tell?
Yes. So Western meaning wagons east.
Okay.
And my kiss and tell is I used to do these amazing SCTV skits with John on set every once in a while because I had a video camera with me. And so I will go on record to tell you that I have the final, very last footage of John Candy ever on my video cassette. And it was a VHS cassette camera. That's how long ago it was.
Have you digitized it, I hope?
What's that?
Have you digitized the video?
But I showed it to my kids not too long ago, and it still plays fine. But I should probably digitize it. I did reach out to Ryan and to let those guys know that I had this footage, but I never ever heard back. For their documentary that they did. But yes, I used to do all of these fun SCTV skits with John, and I would film them, and I have it all on tape, and So it was just that he was such an amazing guy, and took me under his wing, and I used to go to his house all the time, the house that he rented in Durango, Mexico, where we shot the movie, and he would always invite me up for dinners, and so in the very short 2 months we became became friends, and he was just an amazing man. So it was a really sad day, the day that we got a call early in the morning saying to meet in the lobby of the hotel, and we were all the cast like, what's going on?
Oh my God.
Yeah. And then the producer came in and said, 6 o'clock this morning, John passed away. We were like, what?
Oh, that must have been devastating.
Oh, God.
We all loved him, who didn't know him.
He was Uncle Buck. Everyone goes, what was he like? I'm like, he was Uncle Buck. He was exactly that dude.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you had your experience with him, but I'm sorry also that it must have been very painful at the time.
Yeah, it was, I was pretty young. I was 25, I think. John was only 42 years old.
That's crazy.
Let that sink in, right?
We're both older than him.
Yeah, by a
he
lot.
did so much
For me,
before
by
then.
a lot.
I'm right behind you.
Yeah, well, yeah, so that would be my kiss and tell, because
Thank
that
you.
was a lot of fond memories for me, that movie, and just getting to work with him, and yeah.
Are you going to put those videos out there? I imagine it's a
I don't
personal
know.
thing to you.
I would have to talk to his family first, his kids. I would.
Have they seen it?
No, no one's seen it. The only people that have seen that footage are me, my wife, and my kids.
Can you adopt me? So I want to see him.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. You have that, but do digitize it. You have to.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I'll make that a priority. And
you gotta. Before I let you go, is there any opportunity that you would love to have that you have not had yet, or someone you would love to work with?
Well, I have an opportunity that I start on Friday, and I'm about to direct my first feature film. So I start my prep on Friday. So I'm shooting it's kind of a contained paranormal horror with a bit of, comedic banter. It's about these two girls who are very have a bit of fame from a YouTube channel as being ghost hunters, but they always fake that there's ghosts in the house because they don't really believe that there's ghosts.
Sure.
And then they they're shooting their last show, and they end up in a house that is actually haunted. And it's called The Last Show. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity to do that. It's another challenge in the art form. And, I do feel that I'm, after so many years, I definitely feel like I'm ready for it. I'm nervous only because it's something different for me, but, I have a really good team surrounding me. And, so this will be another part of the journey from here on out.
I'm a huge horror movie fan. I'll show you my little corner. I don't know if you can see all that stuff.
Great.
So you will have to come onto my other show, Jump Scare Rewind, when you're not busy doing all that.
Yeah.
But I'm excited for you. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really you're kind of like this is like breaking news, because the only people that know, honestly, are my agents and my family. That's it. I haven't even told my friends yet.
I'll tell them.
Yeah. I haven't even told Mr. Merck yet.
What?
Yeah, that I'm going to have to be coming at him for pointers and ideas.
That's exciting. Well, best with that. Is there anything else you want to promote or talk about before?
Obviously Scary Movie 6 comes out June 5th. Very excited about that. Again, I'm not the star of the movie, but I have some good scenes.
Sure.
And it's just, the movie's fun, and I'm so happy for the Wayans family to get that franchise back. And here's the thing, right? I mean, the world needs a good laugh. The world needs to be able to poke fun at itself a little bit. The Wayans humor has never been hateful, never been racial. It's about stuff that they're, sure, they're going to offend people, but that's what it's about. It's like,
that's the fun, pushing that envelope.
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I really hope people go there with that frame of mind, and I know that everyone's really excited about it. I mean, the other day I read online that Scary Movie 6 trailer is the most watched trailer in film history. Can you believe that?
Guess who's back?
Shit.
Back again.
My God, he stabbed her! Not her! My pronouns are they, them. He stabbed them!
We back.
There's a serial killer on the loose.
Hello, Tuesday.
I had been preparing for this for years. Hello, Mother. You look like shit.
Should we hug?
I really want to, but I'm a Republican now, so I'm supposed to be racist.
Oh, girl, I think all white people are racist anyway. Come here.
Okay. Oh.
Hey there. We heard tell of a Halloween party. We're here to drink, play bad music, do some half gay shit.
Why just half gay?
Sink.
Stop smiling!
Run, bitch, run!
Mom, Santa gave me a severed arm.
Be sure to thank him.
What the?
Controversy, cause it feels so empty without me.
Somebody help! Help!
Bitch, we on break. So you handle yours. I'll be right over here eating my falafel and my pork rinds. Bitch.
The first day it dropped, the Monday that it dropped, it had 100 million views in less than 24 hours.
I didn't even know the trailer was out yet until Bill told me this morning. He's like, check it out. It looks hilarious. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, so the trailer came out in the theaters right before Scream 7 and then officially dropped the Monday after the opening weekend of Scream 7. So everyone who went to Scream 7 got to see the trailer.
So you can live your life off of those residuals and you can retire.
Yeah, could you imagine? I don't think I'm getting Wayans Brothers residuals, you know what I mean? But
no,
they did tell me that they're going to do another White Chick, so that's exciting.
This has been awesome. Thank you for your time. It's really a pleasure to talk to you.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah, thank you, Ian.
Best with the film. Please hang on for 1 second. Oh yeah, and can people follow you anywhere? Instagram?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just, my socials are my name at Lochlyn Munro, so at TikTok, Instagram, I believe, also Twitter. They can follow. I'm not like, I try to be active. I'm not as active as I should be, but you know, I'll try to do more when we ramp up into Scary Movie, and I'll start posting a bit of BTS stuff while I'm directing. As well.
You got to promote your own film.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time. Everyone, share, tell your friends. Lochlyn, stand by for 1 second while we say goodbye to them.
You got it.
Okay, these are the parts I play, filling in plot holes with all sorts of rules.